Hi there. Before we get started on today's video, I just want to give a quick reminder that before you take or try out supplements, to speak with your healthcare provider in order to be on the safe side. Speak to your pediatrician if you have a child, and speak to your healthcare professional or psychiatrist about taking supplements before starting out, just to be on the safe side. Now on to the video. Good evening and welcome to another episode from your ADHD comrade Wilhelm. So, a couple of new things in order. I have started taking quite a bit of new updates, modifications to my supplement regimen. So I wanted to share it with you guys to see hopefully if it can benefit some of you. Just because for me, it's quite a bit of an improvement. So I've been testing a couple of supplements for the last month and a half or so. And these new supplements I'm taking have really helped me out in many different areas that I previously had a lot of difficulty with. So I wanted to see if perhaps they can maybe help some of you guys out too. So let's dive into the nitty-gritty, shall we? First neurotransmitter on the list to take care of when we wake up is dopamine and norepinephrine. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that in the brain affects your levels of concentration, motivation, pleasure senses, and senses of pain. So in order to help out with that, what we can do is we can take a N-acetyltyrosine supplement. N-acetyltyrosine is a supplement that helps out with dopamine. Now, let's see what it does with norepinephrine. Norepinephrine is a neurotransmitter and stress hormone that deals with attentiveness, emotions, impulse control, planning ahead, sleep, and interpreting actions of others. So, by taking N-acetyltyrosine, can really help you out with that. And this particular brand I'm taking over here is from a company known as Nootropics Depot. I was previously taking Gero formulas, but I've noticed that this one has a much stronger capacity, only 350 milligrams, just like the Gero formula ones, but I really feel this one. And it could be because it's N-acetyl L-tyrosine, which is another form of tyrosine, so it could be because it's a combination of both, or it's just in the name. Regardless, I'm taking this one instead of the previous red Gero formulas one I was taking. Really good supplement for dopamine and norepinephrine boost that I recommend at the beginning of the day, that I take at the beginning of the day. The next neurotransmitter you want to help out when you start out your day that I take literally 10 minutes after I take the N-acetyltyrosine supplement is a supplement to help out with serotonin. Now, serotonin is a neurotransmitter that deals with mood regulation, sleep, nervousness, level of anxiety, empathy, appetite, and digestion. So a lot of us might not feel hungry when we wake up. We might get nauseous if we eat something. This has a lot to do with serotonin. Our anxiety levels, for those of us who have low levels of serotonin, can be quite high. And this can affect a lot of our mood. And when we get very little sleep, our serotonin levels are very low. For a serotonin supplement, I recommend L-Theanine from Gero Formulas. It is a wonderful, lovely supplement that really helps out with serotonin. Helps relax the body, helps relax the mind, helps you boost serotonin. And the interesting thing about L-Theanine is the calming agent found in green tea that helps you relax, that makes you feel good, the whole schnoz, if you will. So this one's only 100 milligrams. They offer it in upwards of 200, I believe. But to me, anything higher than 100 is too much. So right after the N-acetyltyrosine, 10 minutes later, I take L-Theanine. Lovely combination. So for those of us who are on the keto diet, we need exogenous ketones in order to keep our ketone bodies high, in order to keep us in ketosis. So these supplements that I take are really helpful for keeping you in ketosis in case you have, like, I don't know, a piece of pie or something, or some carb-related thing that's really heavy duty. I, for instance, really like sushi. And I really miss pasta. So anytime I have sushi, a couple of rolls at least, I have to take exogenous ketone supplement to help me out. So it also helps you go through what they call the keto flu. So for those of you who are keto friendly, I recommend to take this one. And what I recommend supplement wise is Keto BHB, exogenous ketones. So what I like about these is that it has a different proprietary blend. It has a magnesium beta hydroxybutyrate, calcium beta hydroxybutyrate, sodium beta hydroxybutyrate. So different sorts of salts, different sorts of minerals, helpful for the diet because you need electrolytes in your body as well. If you're on the keto diet, absolutely amazing supplement that I really like. I was taking one for perfect keto before, but unfortunately online they're not always available. So I started taking this other company, same components, same amount of milligrams and dosages and whatnot. So highly recommend if you're on the keto diet. And if you're not, if you want to try out, this helps you in the starting process and it helps you to continue it. So I highly recommend it. Not too expensive, available on Amazon. Now for the next supplement, Mario mushroom. So anyway, when I eat, what I do is I take N-acetyltyrosine again, and then I will take a L-Tryptophan supplement, because when I have lunch and when I have dinner, that's when I take my medication. So my medication that I take is only 10 milligrams and lasts about 5 hours or less. It doesn't last the full 6, and I believe that's because of the company that provides it. So before I take the medication, I make sure to eat. So I have lunch and I have dinner and I have my supplements along with the medication. So I will take N-acetyltyrosine and then I will take L-Tryptophan 10 minutes later. Now the reason why I do that is because it helps balance out dopamine and serotonin, because dopamine and serotonin are the brain's reward system. When you take something to boost up dopamine, serotonin goes down. So you need to take something for both of them to balance them out. If you take something for serotonin, the dopamine goes down. You need to take something that will help you out in both regards. Otherwise, it can be very, very difficult. Especially if you have ADHD, because we all have really, really different levels of both of those neurotransmitters. And if you have inattentive ADHD, yeah, we're going to have really low levels of dopamine. So that's a little iffy. So what I do is I'll take an L-Tryptophan supplement after I take the N-acetyl supplement. So for the L-Tryptophan supplement, I take Gero Formulas L-Tryptophan. It's only 500 milligrams. I only take this once a day because that's all I need. If I take more than once a day, I'm gonna get into the inattentive ADHD melancholy state where you hear Debussy piano playing in the background. And, woe is me, woe is the world, and I don't want to get like that. So what I do is I just take this once a day. Gets the job done. You take this 10 minutes after you take N-acetyltyrosine, and then you have your meal. And then after the meal, here's where the different combination of supplements. This is a big multi-mix of supplements I take after I eat. Right after I eat, I take these supplements, and then I'll take the medication right afterwards. So first, after you finish having your lunch or your dinner, in my case, I take a very nice type of multivitamin. The type that I take is Men's Golden Multivitamin. No, disregard the men's part. This company makes it in, for women as well, for children, I believe. So, anyways, the reason why I like this is because it has a different mixture of, it has what they call the herbal support complex. So you have alfalfa herb, saw palmetto, sounds like some Italian guy from New York, pumpkin, you got wild yam, you got sarsaparilla, which we're going to talk about later. And then you got tomato powder, spinach leaf, broccoli powder, carrot powder, talcum powder. No, I'm kidding. Okay, you got bioflavonoids in this. So it's really good. I like this because it has sarsaparilla in it. Sarsaparilla is a synergist. It's going to make the rest of the supplements work stronger. Your body's really going to feel it, and it's really beneficial. Because unfortunately, when you got ADHD, our body becomes accustomed to some of the stuff that we take. So if we're not taking something like magnesium or sarsaparilla or even PS100 to help out with the feeling of certain supplements, the effects of the supplements are going to vary more of the time, more so unfortunately. So I take this. I used to take the Trader Joe's multivitamin because it had sustained antioxidants, but I recommend that one if you got a Trader Joe's near your place, or I recommend this one, Solray. Solray, not exactly the most organic of companies, but I really like the product, so I might change this later. Who knows? But for now, I really like it. And for the other multivitamin, you're probably wondering, what? You take two? Well, check it out. For this one, very, very fluorescent colors. But anyway, it's a vegan multivitamin that I started taking because the other one I usually took was unavailable. Thank you, Amazon. But anyway, this was available. I checked the perks and I really liked what I saw. So what I really like about this one, as opposed to the other multivitamin I was taking, was that this one has B12 methylcobalamin form. It has the bioactive version of B12, as opposed to the cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin. Go look at majority of the stuff that you got that has B12 in it. You're going to see that it has cyanocobalamin. C-Y-A-N-O cobalamin. I believe that's how you spell it. Anyway. So, cyanocobalamin is the more synthesized form of B12. Methylcobalamin is the more bioactive version of B12. That's the type that your body makes. So, we definitely need a bit of that because I take a B12 methylcobalamin supplement in general. But what's helpful about this is that it helps with the other multivitamin that I'm taking because I'm very sensitive to multivitamins because they can really make or break my mood. I'm allergic to some of the extra stuff that they got. So what I really like about this is that it's very organic, it's nut-free, gluten-free, gelatin-free, and it just gets the job done. I feel such a big sense of energy with taking this one. It's a new one that I started taking the last month or so, and it's amazing. So I would recommend it to anyone who wants to take a multivitamin, because for me, I have to take only half a bite of this because I'm already taking the other multivitamin. For some of you, you might want to take this one instead of the previous one that I mentioned. But I like to take a little bit of both just because I feel I need a bit more of the vitamins that are in here. So I really like this. Game changer for sure. Gonna be sticking with this bad boy right here. Nutrimin vitamin gummies. So recommend them. If you dig them, give it a go. It's one of the classic ones I'll take. You have flaxseed oil. Flaxseed oil is really good for you in various different amounts of ways. It helps smoothen out the medication. It helps you out with your hair, helps you out with your skin, with your joints and your bones. But most importantly, it's really good if you have ADHD. Studies have shown how much the oil from flaxseed oil, from fish oil, you have the different types of oils in this. The different omega oils. You have omega 3, 6, and 9. Now, the different types of oils that you take are very important with this. Fish oil causes me to break out. That's the reason why I started taking flaxseed oil. So flaxseed oil has a nice balance of all three different types of omega oils. Omega 3, omega 6, and omega 9. So great combination, great supplement to take. Helps smoothen out the medication and helps the body out. So this is one of the ones I take in the big mix. So this is only the first one in the big mix. Second one in the mix, we got buffered chelated magnesium. Just sounds like a pay-per-view, doesn't it? So anyway, this is great for digestion. It's most similar to the type of magnesium that the body co-creates, basically. Nice exogenous, most similar, most bioactive. Really strong form of magnesium, and not too high on the milligrams, only 200 milligrams. And I take 2 of these, one with dinner, one with lunch, and that's basically it. Magnesium, you got to be careful though. At higher dosages is going to give you a little problem in the stomach, and it's a common complaint people have. So start low if you're going to start supplementing with magnesium. But this helps your body digest the medication, your food, and everything else so much. It is critical. I remember one week, Amazon was lagging and didn't deliver this for a day, so I went a day and had to take a cheap type of magnesium or a lesser, more active form. What a difference. Magnesium, definitely necessary if you're taking the medication or taking stimulant medication, in my opinion. Next on the giant list of supplements, you gotta look cool. Next on the list of big supplements to take after lunch and after dinner. For this, I take MCT oil. MCT oil is absolutely amazing. It's like a massage for the brain, massage for memory and thought fluidity. Good for the skin, good for the hair, good for a variety of things. So if you're not on the keto diet, you might not benefit as much, some might believe, but you'd be surprised. I've given MCT oil to a couple of family members and friends, and they really like it. I recommended it to a couple of people I work with, so I might recommend it to you. It's not all that expensive. Juro formulas, I think it's around $8 on Amazon. I take 3 of these a day. I take 2 at lunch, and then I'll take 1 at dinner, but really good. Smoothens out the medication and really helpful if you're on the keto diet. MCT oil. Oil from the critical part of the coconut. Really good. Studies have shown how much coconut oil is really good for you. So I really like it. And it's a must-have in my supplement regimen. Next on the big list of supplements to take, PS100. Now, how many of us have problems for thoughts kind of going backwards, left, forwards, right, 3 degrees south, 2 degrees west, and we just can't focus? So, what this helps you out with thought fluidity, meaning that some of us have trouble keeping up. Speaking as fast as we think is a very common ADHD problem. This helps out with that. When I started taking this while in my bachelor degree years, this really helped me out when I was reading, when I was speaking. I noticed it was a calming of the mind. And the thing about this little bad boy right here, it's also a drill sergeant. It is a neuromodulator. This bad boy right here makes sure that all the other neurotransmitters are doing what they're supposed to do. So, to the best of our capacity, of course, because a lot of us got ADHD and we got gene mutations and other sorts of issues that cause problems. So, it basically works with what you got. So, if you're helping out the rest of the neurotransmitters people with ADHD got problems with, you add this bad boy right here, game changer. Really helps out with thought fluidity, helps out with reading, and it just, I don't know, for some reason it helps out with the focusing of thoughts. I really like it, highly recommend it for those of us who have issues with wandering thoughts, who have issues with speaking and how fast we think and being able to keep up and say our thoughts out loud. This is a really good help for that. I only take 100 milligrams of it, and I highly recommend it from Juro Formulas. And last but certainly not least on the big list of supplements, we got Sarsaparilla. Anyway, Sarsaparilla, really good for being a synergist to other supplements. I started taking this because this was an ingredient in the multi-greens powder I took earlier in the day. And I noticed that it calms the mind so intensely in a beautiful way, but also kind of gives a drive at the same time. And this makes the rest of the supplements feel stronger, and the medication as well. Not an overabundance, like, oh, it's going to be overwhelming. No, just a good amount. So it's really good for you, really good for your hair, really good for the skin. And I've had scars on my body that have started healing because of this. I've had issues with certain, scars over the years in certain parts of my body that this is, ironically, out of anything else I've ever taken, this has actually helped that out. This comes from a plant that has a wood vine sort of look to it. Very interesting. So Sarsaparilla, while a different form of style in its own, is really helpful in helping the rest of the supplements do an even stronger gig. You tie this up with PS100, you're gonna have quite the 2 drill sergeants helping out with the rest of the supplements and neurotransmitters. So this is a must for me. It's done wonders for the skin, done wonders for the hair, and done wonders for the stare. So what you do is, okay, we got all the supplements in, you got the 2 multivitamins, and then afterwards I'll wait a good 6 minutes. Why 6 minutes? Because I'm very detail oriented. I tested the different amounts of time to wait to take the medication after the supplements, so the supplements can build up initiative, can start establishing themselves in their neurochemistry. So for me, my sweet spot for some reason is 6 minutes. I tried going from 10 and going down and seeing what worked best, and 6 minutes for some reason seems to work best for me. So after I take the bunch of supplements all at once, then afterwards I take the medication. And what ends up happening is that, cool, we're helping out norepinephrine, we're helping out dopamine, but What about acetylcholine? We need help with acetylcholine afterwards. So after I take the big bunch of supplements and everything else, I want to reiterate that I'll take the 2 multivitamins first. I'll take the Solar Ray one first, and then I'll take the gummy one, just half of it. And then I'll take the big list of supplements that we just went over. So after that, 30 minutes later, an hour later, I'll need help with another neurotransmitter that we have trouble with, and that's the acetylcholine neurotransmitter. Now, acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that deals with muscle contraction, pain responses, mood regulation, REM sleep, and coordination. So, mood regulation, interpreting actions of others, and muscle coordination and fatigue and whatnot. So, I love R-alpha lipoic acid. It is a supplement that I wish I had when I was younger. And the cool thing about R-alpha lipoic acid, the type that I take, is that you only have to take it once a day. Now, some people might read, oh man, R-alpha lipoic acid, that kind of messes a little bit with the hair, doesn't it? Well, thankfully this one includes biotin in there for our balding friends and family. Okay, so our balding comrades and ADHD mates and mateys and whatnot, yes, you'll be okay. So, cool thing about this, superior bioavailability and activity. There's different ways to boost up acetylcholine. This just happens to be one of my favorite ones. Powerful supplement, I only take once a day, and it's also one of the strongest, if not the strongest, antioxidant supplement out there. It's really good because antioxidants are needed if you're taking stimulant medication. Stimulant medication produces quite a bit of oxidation for the body. Now, oxidation for the body is not good. We get oxidation of all sorts of things throughout the day, including the bad contaminated air in some of the areas. So, medication, a lot of oxidation. What do? Antioxidants. Those of us who don't consume berries and salads and whatnot, we're going to have low antioxidants. Powerhouse antioxidant, helps you out with R-alpha lipoic acid. And for those people with ADHD who have problems with cigarettes, this right here. You know how you have to take a cigarette break every 15 minutes? That's because you lack acetylcholine. Nicotine in cigarettes makes the brain believe that you're creating more acetylcholine because it mimics it. Unfortunately, that dwindles down pretty quick. Take one of these bad boys once a day, you're not gonna need that. This will do the job. I take one of these a day, that's all you need. Really helpful for those that might want to quit cigarettes. You know, you might want to perhaps go to a detox center, get some help from your local hospital, healthcare professional. But this is really helpful right here. So I recommend this to anybody with a condition. Really good supplement, really helpful, and can also help those of us who have problems quitting cigarettes. So maybe an hour or two later, you'll be in the mood. So if you have trouble with the old hanky-panky, not in the mood, it's probably for various reasons. So what I take for B12 is, for B12, I take B12 methylcobalamin form 1,000 micrograms. Now, for those of us who have trouble with a low libido or don't feel in the mood a lot of the time, and there's quite a bit of people with ADHD that have this issue that just, that don't speak about it because it's a little hard. So I understand. So B12 methylcobalamin form, that is the most bioactive form of B12, meaning most similar to what the body makes, helps out with the excitatory neurotransmitter GABA, which helps you relax the body. And also helps out with serotonin and helps out with dopamine as well. So, if you have low levels of B12, which a lot of people with ADHD do, due to a gene mutation we have in one of the receptors of B12, we're going to have trouble in those areas, which is why a lot of people, perhaps when they're being intimate with their partners, might feel uncomfortable. They might feel the fabric of the mattress cover, of the sheets. The smell of everything just might be really bad. They're going to be uncomfortable, and their joints are going to be stiffened, and they're going to be uncomfortable in many different angles, and it's going to feel more like a chore rather than something romantic. And they might just be doing it for their partner. So a lot of the time, the reason why that is because of low levels of B12. So I take B12 once a day, and it gets the job done in terms of helping me out with the areas it needs to help out with. So I want to recommend it for you guys as well. So 1,000 micrograms, it's really good. For those of you guys when you start taking it, if you have a problem with the libido, be very careful. This thing will turn you into Fabio, so to speak. So just watch out. It's really helpful and it's really good. So I'll take this maybe, a good 2-3 hours after I take the medication. Really good vitamin to take, B12, Girl formulas. Highly recommend. So when you're on stimulant medication and you've taken supplements, particularly if you're taking stimulant medication, you're going to need to eat something a couple hours after you take the medication. So for this, I take collagen bar. Collagen by the company Bulletproof. So collagen is really good for you. It's really helpful in a different variety of ways, and studies have indicated that we have low levels of collagen in our body. A lot of us with ADHD, that is. So collagen is all over our joints and our bones and all sorts of different surfaces and areas in the body. So what we need to do is we need to take a supplement or something to help it out. So this is a really good snack to take, really good for working out, and really good as a snack to take in the middle of the day. So I had a friend and we had a 2-hour jam session. He had to play drums, hadn't eaten anything. So, he asked me, is it cool if I have a collagen bar? I said, sure. Gave him one, got the job done. So this is good for those of us who can't eat or are on the run a lot. So if you're on the go a lot and you're going to work and you're busy, you don't have a chance to eat, collagen bar is really good. Collagen basically comes from bone broth, chicken broth, beef broth, fish peptides, etc., etc. The only thing I know that'll make the body and brain feel like you already ate. It'll only cover you for a couple hours though, so make sure to have a legit meal. But other than that, collagen bar, really highly recommended. It's a little snack I take. And it has MCT oil, so you're going to be able to focus and you're going to get a ton of energy from that. So, highly recommend. And for the next ordeal, whoa! So for this, Matcha Green Tea. Now, Matcha Green Tea is just regular green tea left out in the sun too long. Usually they put it out in the shade and, does this ordeal. But in this case, the green tea is left out in the sun longer, which usually ruins it. But in this case, the longer it's left out in the sun, the higher the levels of L-Theanine go. So basically, this is like super green tea. So the levels of L-Theanine are really high. So you're going to get a really nice serotonin boost from taking this. It's on the go. I don't got time to be boiling water with the work schedule I got and as many people I work with and all the projects I got going. There's no time to be sitting and watching water boil. So rip this open, get a water bottle, put it inside, shake it up, chug it, you'll be good to go. I do this maybe a good 3.5 hours after I take the medication. It really helps out. Good to fight against the oxidation of the medication as well. Matcha Green Tea from the company Do Matcha. I used to take it from Republic of Tea, but for some reason they've been sold out the last 2 weeks. So, I've had to go to this. And I'm glad to see more companies are picking up on the tea strips. Because we got a busy schedule, folks. So, Matcha Green Tea. Highly recommend. Pack it. So, it's been the 6 hours or so you're going to eat again. I eat every 6-7 hours or so. So, when I have dinner, that'll be around the time of medication's wearing off. So, if you don't want the medication crash to come, or if you want to help yourself out or help diminish the medication crash, what you can do is you can take an N-acetyltyrosine supplement to help you out with dopamine and norepinephrine. Because stimulant medication works with dopamine and norepinephrine. So the levels of dopamine and norepinephrine are going to be lower when your medication wears off. So while they're lower, equilibrium is going to be going up. But during that upheaval process, that's when we feel kind of angry and sad and the crash kind of happens. So in order to eliminate that, I take N-acetyltyrosine an hour before my medication wears off. I used to do that. Now I'm doing something new. I am now taking grapeseed extract, OPC. Now, grapeseed extract is a great supplement. It's basically the seeds of grapes smashed into a fine powder and taken in supplement form. OPCs are basically the dark, rich colors in a lot of the fruits and berries we consume and whatnot. It's what gives them a lot of the power that they have out in nature. So it's really good because it's an antioxidant powerhouse. Really good for that. Helps the brain make less theta waves. Theta waves are a type of waves our brain makes while we're in light sleep. We're about to wake up and we're distracted. So it helps the brain makes less of those and make more beta waves, which is the type of waves your brain makes when you're calmer. And people who meditate more usually get more beta waves. So this helps out greatly with that. It's going to help relax the mind. It also helps out with the neurotransmitters, dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, and, ironically enough, adrenaline. Now, quite the powerhouse. Helps out with multiple neurotransmitters, so it's going to give you quite the perk up. I take this an hour before the medication crash, and it really seems to help out. It gives me this calmness and this almost childlike happiness I can't explain. It's a really good supplement that's going to help cleanse out the oxidation from the stimulant medication. It's also going to help out with the brain waves. You're going to be able to make more of the type of waves that you want, beta waves, to be able to focus more in what you're doing. So, really good for that. And honestly speaking, this supplement, for those of you who want to try supplements and don't want to take stimulant medication, I would recommend this. Talk to your pediatrician, if you have a kid, or talk to your local healthcare provider about taking OPC plus 95, i.e. grape seed extract, because it's really good. This is a supplement I wish I would have taken perhaps as a kid, or maybe the kid variant of this, because it helps out with so many of the neurotransmitters we have a problem with. Dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, adrenaline. If this thing helped out with acetylcholine, it would be almost similar to an all-in-one. So it's really helpful. I really like it, and it's really helpful for relaxing you and helping you focus and concentrate. So it's a really nice supplement that I'm for sure going to keep included into my regimen. I don't recommend to take this if you're going to take the medication again, though, or while you're taking the medication, because this has a ton of vitamin C. It helps your body. It kind of gives you a revamp of vitamin C, and you need that after the medication. So I don't recommend to take this, though, because it's going to last in the body for a while, and that's going to ruin or diminish the effects of stimulant medication if you take it again. So take this when you're not going to take any more of your stimulant medication. Really good supplement for various reasons. I highly recommend it. Okay, and for the next supplement, collagen. Collagen supplement. Studies have indicated a lot of us with ADHD have low levels of collagen, which is why we have difficulty with muscle stiffness, stiff joints. We can't sit in the same angle for too long. We have to stand up. We got to sit down. We got to move left and right. It's because our body's constantly uncomfortable due to a lot of our ligaments and bones and etc. lacking collagen. Now, this contains 3 different types of collagen. It contains collagen from bone broth blend, organic chicken bone broth powder, organic beef bone broth powder. So I take another collagen powder with the MCT oil and the butter coffee earlier in the day. Really nice touch. But this is what I recommend for you guys, though. This collagen supplement right here, because it's going to help you out in a variety of ways. Collagen supplements is the only supplement I've ever taken that helps my body believe that it already ate and helps me relax and take the edge off, so to speak, if I haven't eaten yet. Because a lot of us with ADHD, when we haven't eaten, there's sort of an edge and an anxiousness or a tension that might build, and we just don't feel good. We might feel nauseous, we might feel weak. So this is a really good supplement to take when you got that. So I take this 3 times a day. Very helpful. It's from Left Coast, and different types of collagen included within this supplement. So highly recommend. It might help you relax your body more, be able to sit in different angles and not feel so uncomfortable so often. So I recommend it. So now when I'm going to sleep later on, maybe around 11, 12, 10, or for those of you with ADHD, we don't know, because a lot of us with ADHD go to sleep at different times throughout the night. Unfortunately, because it's hard. Sleeping is an issue for a lot of us with ADHD. So here's my sleep regimen. What I do is I'll take collagen, the one I just showed you. I'll take that again. And then right after collagen, I'll take N-acetyltyrosine. Now the reason why I take N-acetyltyrosine is because dopamine helps the body with the circadian rhythm. That is our sleep pattern and cycle. This will help us fall asleep at the same time, which is a problem a lot of us with ADHD have, because a lot of us with ADHD fall asleep at random times. It's just different every day. It's like, oh man, we got to guess what time we're going to go to sleep tonight. So collagen and acetyltyrosine specifically really helps out with keeping your circadian rhythm, sleep cycle on check. So after I take the N-acetyltyrosine, 10 minutes later, I will take melatonin, life extension melatonin. Now, what's good about this is that it's a 6-hour timed release. So the pineal gland in the brain will secrete melatonin throughout the night, throughout the 6 hours throughout the night, as opposed to the first 2 hours like a lot of supermarket melatonin supplements do. So I've seen a couple of good ones, but what I like about this one is that it's 300 micrograms and it's a 6-hour sustained release. So 300 micrograms was the amount of micrograms that melatonin was synthesized when it was first synthesized in the previous century. So it really makes a difference. It's lower, it's MCG, microgram. That's a lower measurement of unit than milligram. So I recommend the smaller one, 300 micrograms. Most supermarkets will have milligrams, mg. So I recommend this one because it feels stronger and it gets the job done. And the 6-hour time release is just a cherry on the cake. So really good. Unfortunately, we got a problem with something else because a precursor to melatonin, because our brain makes melatonin while we're sleeping, it just doesn't make enough of it. The reason why is because the precursor to melatonin, serotonin, is another neurotransmitter we have low levels of, as I mentioned earlier. So we got to bring back a cameo from our guest of invitation from earlier, if you will. We bring back, whoa, L-Theanine. So after I take the melatonin, I will take 2 100 milligrams of L-Theanine because serotonin eventually becomes melatonin. So if we have low levels of serotonin, we're going to have low levels of melatonin. And then our sleep quality is going to stank. And we're not going to have enough deep sleep. And we're going to be cranky, annoyed, perform at not our best the next day. And we don't want that. So I take 2 of these, 2 100 milligrams right after the melatonin. You don't have to take 2. I take 2 because that's kind of what I need. Ironically enough, there's a 200 milligram version of this, but it doesn't do my body good for some reason. I get really itchy. Just like I need to take 2 individual 100s as opposed to just 1 200. I don't know, go figure. Anyways, really good, gets the job done, and helps the serotonin, helps the melatonin. And this takes about 40 to 45 minutes to kick in. And then when it kicks in, I go off into sleep land. And it's amazing. And with the collagen, I don't get uncomfortable when I'm sleeping. With the N-acetyltyrosine, I'll be able to sleep around the same time every night. And with the melatonin, you'll be able to have the pineal gland secreting melatonin to be able to help you out with deep sleep. And this is going to help you out to get more melatonin because we need more serotonin to become melatonin since we have low levels of both, unfortunately. So that is my sleep regimen. So I hope you found this video helpful and a bit insightful, and maybe you can put a couple of these into practice. You don't have to do all of them. It's quite a bit of supplements, but supplements and nootropic stacks are so very beneficial and so very helpful to a lot of us. To a lot of people I've worked with, to myself, to a lot of my friends and family members, and a lot of people I know with ADHD. So I hope this video was insightful and of some help to you, and hopefully you can improve your life and implement some of these supplements into your life. This is Wilhelm speaking, your ADHD comrade. Take it easy, over and out.